Hi, She Prophets. How are you? Give me a like or a comment when you arrive. Today we're going to talk about codependency and your creativity. Whoop! I've got my phone plugged in, so you might see a little bit of jostling back and forth. And just give me a like or a comment when you arrive. I know I told you about this super last minute, so maybe some of you will show up and we'll do this together. But regardless, I am going to give you this really important talk today. I'm just refreshing. So tell me when you're here. Let's see. I don't think I can see your comments, so I'm just going to refresh the page. But I can see somebody watching. Let's see here. This is a super, okay, cool. No problem. Okay, so I'm going to get started because I really think that this has been coming up for a lot of people while we've been in quarantine for coronavirus, this whole issue of codependency and how it actually interacts with your creativity and your art. And we have this really unique time right now that although many of us are in anxiety, we have a lot of uncertainty, we also have an opportunity, right? And I think that we all know that we have an opportunity right now. So that the question is, how are we going to use it? And what ends up happening is if we have any issues of codependency, they're going to be really intense right now, mainly because we're living in such close quarters with people and because so many people have extra emotions at this moment. So whatever emotions you were already feeling about anything in your life or any latent fears or fears that you haven't wanted to look at are going to be coming up to the surface. And that's not only true for us, it's also true for anybody in our lives that we know. So if we have a tendency to caretake other people's emotions, and a lot of artists, activists, and healers do have that tendency because we're the sensitive ones, right? So we can feel, I mean, everyone's sensitive, but we're pretty tapped in. We have to be tapped in and tuned in to our sensitivity because that's a piece of our work. It's a big, important piece of our work to be tuned in. And so what can happen is that we end up taking care of other people's emotions during this time when, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. Okay, so and I really want to talk about what this has to do with your creativity, your self-expression, your healing contribution, and your own soul. I'm going to unplug this. I think it'll be fine. When I talk about caretaking other people's emotions, I'm not talking about natural caretaking. So we're all here to take care of each other. And I think most people understand that this is a moment in time when we're really here to care and think about what we can do for others and to be of service to others. Codependency is not service to others. And I want to talk about that because there's a fine line. When we are in a codependent situation, we will tell ourselves that we're too nice, that we're really being care too much about other people. We will put ourselves in this role of being the good person. But the truth is that we are kind of bullshitting ourselves when we say that, and I'm going to talk to you about why. So with codependency, it's things like making decisions to stay in relationships, business partnerships, on serving on boards, being in toxic situations, etc., because we are afraid of the reaction or backlash or emotional upheaval of other people, or because we think we need to save that thing or that place, right? So we do stuff that we know we don't really want to do because we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And you can see, if we take this all the way down, how this could really negatively impact our lives if we're saying yes when we really mean no. And I'm talking about things like walking on eggshells because we're afraid of how someone else might react. I'm talking about assuming we need to rescue everyone around us dealing with this coronavirus pandemic, even helping with their emotional state, even if this is your job. So especially if you are somebody who is not making the amount of money that you need to be making in your job right now, and you're fielding phone calls all day trying to practice your work and trying to fix everyone in your life, you need to know that you're doing that. You need to understand that is part of your self-sabotage, is to go and try to fix everybody else when your business needs you. I am talking about staying in partnerships because we feel we owe it to someone to keep going or to keep them on board. That is people pleasing. A lot of times in this codependency world, we will make commitments to ourselves and our work because someone needs a listening ear. And instead of giving them 10 minutes of a listening ear, we'll give them an hour and blow through our entire schedule and the work that we were meant to do. Other things that can be signs of being in codependency is we feel trapped in relationships, whether it's a business relationship or a partnership, a romantic partnership, a friendship, a parent-child situation, whatever it is, we feel trapped in it and we feel like there's no movement. We feel we have to keep quiet to avoid argument. So there's often a deep fear of conflict that happens or of making people mad if we tell the truth. And we agree to things that we don't have time for or pour our energy into someone else's drama. Here's the rub, and here's what I really want you to get about what this is. If we have to run around taking care of everybody else, or even if we're just staying in a relationship and holding that relationship on the line because they really like us, but we don't want to break up with them because we don't want to hurt their feelings and we don't trust the universe to take care of us and that there'll be more out there. If we're so busy trying to manage all these relationships, we are too busy to create. And we're really, even if you're a great creator, you're still shortchanging yourself. We're too busy to master our healing work if we're trying to take care of somebody we met at Starbucks. I remember when I was on the cusp of starting this work in a way that would support me, would be mutually supportive. I would go to Starbucks to do my divinity school work to prepare to be the best spiritual teacher I could be. And somebody would sit down next to me and and they would have something going on in their lives and I would talk to them for the next 2 hours about their lives, some total stranger, not do any of my homework and tell myself, but isn't this what I'm supposed to be doing? Nope, that's total codependency. And it was really destroying my ability to be of the highest service. And this is it's probably showing up for some of you all. We become too busy to be visible or too busy to stay visible. So that visibility piece, we talk about that a lot. The visibility piece is connected to finances. So visibility and under-earning are connected. If we're not being visible, then we're not earning. Does that make sense? And if we're not being visible, we're not fully self-expressed. We use other people's dramas or taking care of other people's emotions so that we don't have to be visible because we're just too busy taking care of other people. Or we use them so we don't have to stay visible. So for example, if you have a business and you're not, and you continue to hire people whose emotions that you have to take care of, around whom you have to walk on eggshells, you are going to be able to pop up and be visible, but then you're going to eventually have to, oh God, the business needs me right now. Instead of having the support to consistently stay visible, you're going to pop up and pop back down. Does this make sense? I'm just going to see if anybody has joined. I kind of don't think so because I told you all so late, but let me see. And if you do join, just let me know when you're here. Okay, cool. So what I want you to do when you watch this video is share the ways you are currently trying to take care of other people's emotions. So I just want you to share with us any ways that you're trying to take care of other people's emotions right now. And just share those in the comments. So maybe you're maybe because you're in quarantine, you're not asking for the time that you need to prepare for a launch for your business. Or maybe because you're in quarantine, you're not asking for the time that you need to do your spiritual morning practice if you have kids. Does this make sense? So I really want you to see, because you don't want to put too much on somebody else. What are you not asking for because you're afraid? Or what are you agreeing to? How are you trying to take care of other people's emotions? Share that in the comments. Next, I want you to say, how do you feel when you're taking care of other people's emotions? And this is really interesting because you might be getting a little bit of a high off of it. You might be getting a little bit of a short-term high off of caring for other people's emotions. I know I did. And so I really have to watch my energy around what it feels like when I'm caring for other people's emotions, because I can get to that little hit off of it, when what I need to be doing is the long-term work. So if we go back into that example of, I go to Starbucks, which obviously none of us are doing right now, but I go to Starbucks to do my divinity school homework, and somebody sits down next to me who's having a life crisis, and I talk to this stranger for 2 hours, I'm going for the short-term hit of supporting somebody rather than the longer term work of strengthening and mastering my ability to teach. Does this make sense? So you want to look for that. So usually there's a short-term positive hit, but there's a hangover. And the hangover is, oh no, I didn't get any of my work done. Oh no, I'm making this investment in divinity school. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Now I'm going to have to stay up really late. I'm going to get not enough sleep, and the cycle continues. So is your taking care of other people's emotions, how is it making you feel? And right now it might be trying to take care of neighbors. And it's not that we shouldn't do that. It's just to be aware of the context in which we're doing it, our motivations for doing it, and what it allows us to get out of. Okay, so share that. And here is what I want you to understand about why it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good because we're using other people to get our self-esteem and well-being. So we're using them to get our self-esteem and well-being. So if somebody's going to get mad at us, if we have a partner who lives with us and they're going to get mad if we ask for something, we're using them to get our self-esteem and well-being by shrinking down and not asking, telling ourselves perhaps that we're being considerate or a good wife or a good partner or whatever it is, but really we're using them so that we feel okay. But the problem is, and this is why it really doesn't feel good, not only are we using them, but we're not being honest. So that we can use, some of us can even feel it in our throats when we're not being honest. Our truth gets sacrificed when we're doing this, okay? So for example, if our schedule says that we are going to be creating content, so if you've been doing your time work that we talked about a couple weeks ago, and you'll start to see how time, communication, and money are all connected, and visibility. They're like best friends. They have to run together, okay? So if you have scheduled out 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. to create content or to post on Instagram or to study for your master's in social work or whatever it is, but then you get a call from someone at 1:15 right in the middle of that time who says that they're struggling, and you take that call, you are lying to them because you do not have that time available. That time is time that you set aside for your work or for your spiritual practice or whatever it is. And so when we lie, we're not going to feel good, right? The backlash of lying is that our self-esteem gets lowered. So we're trying to get our self-esteem from the situation and our well-being from the situation, but we're lying so we actually lower our self-esteem. Does this make sense? So another example would be if we say it's fine that someone is in our space when it's actually not fine, we're lying to them. Especially right now, we have, I know a lot of us are feeling cramped, so we're going to need to do our best to create space for ourselves, physical space, if you're someone who needs that. I know I do. And it needs to be a place where it's like, I need this to be my space, even if it's just a corner of a room. I need this to be my space where nobody else comes in. And if we're telling others that it's okay or that, oh, it's so fine that you interrupted, oh no, I have this time, we're lying. Our self-esteem gets lowered, okay? So every time that we try to caretake other people's emotions in a way that's codependent, we are lying. Self-esteem gets lowered. So in what ways are you not being totally truthful when you are taking care of someone else's emotions right now? I want you to share that in the comments. In what ways are you not being totally truthful when you're caretaking other people's emotions? Share it in the comments. Okay. So let's talk about why we would lie. Why would we lie to somebody? And I will tell you why. It's because we're scared. We're scared to tell the truth. And that is so normal, especially for some of us. We were raised in homes where if you told the truth, you were going to get punished. And you might get punished by the withdrawal of love or by physical punishment or something else. But there would be some sort of punishment. Or just because we want to be loved by everybody, right? And we think that we have to sacrifice our whole being to be loved. That's not true. And that's a lie that that the ego tells us because it doesn't want us to believe in an abundant universe. But the truth is that you can tell the truth about your life. You can tell the truth about, oh, I'm actually not available right now. And you can still be loved. And you can, but you're going to have to take that faithful or courageous action to experience the faith. So you're not going to get the faith beforehand. You're going to have to take the action, and then the faith comes afterward. So we lie because we're afraid to tell the truth, and then we continue to shrink our lives afraid to tell the truth, right? So that's how our lives get shrunken, and it's not a life that we've designed that's full and robust with our truth and the life that we want to be living. But the thing is that we're not just lying because we're afraid to tell the truth. We're also lying because we're getting something from lying. What are we getting? I'm going to tell you. We're getting distractions from our self-expression. We're getting distraction from our self-expression. So distraction from the present moment, distraction from listening to ourselves, distractions from our creative output. We're getting to get distracted from doing the work that we came here to do. And that's why this work of becoming fully self-expressed is so powerful. Mastering self-expression requires us to learn clear and direct communication. So it's about relationships. So does having our relationship with time requires us to have clear and direct communication. Our relationship with money requires us to have direct communication. And our relationship with all of that requires us to be visible and seen. And when you stake a claim in how you're going to be using your time or your energy, which is what so much of this codependency is really about, you are going to be visible. You're going to be visible to the person that you are in that relationship with for what you really want. And this does not have to be, it's never their fault. So there's a tendency at this point, once somebody realizes, oh my God, I've lived like my whole life lying and people pleasing and being codependent. A lot of times people go into this kind of like I've lived my whole life doing, and we get a little bit victim mentality about it. That's not the way, right? Because we've actually already been in victim mentality. Now it's like, oh man, I have had the power all along and I just haven't been using it. So it's nobody else's fault that we were claiming to have time that we didn't have. Nobody was just using our time. We were giving our time because we were afraid and because we were getting something. Remember, we were afraid to tell the truth, and we were getting to be distracted from what we came here to do. And I personally can look back all the way to high school and middle school and see all the times that I was doing this people-pleasing behavior when I've always, and I'm sure each of you all have too, had this creator inside of me, this person who wants to be fully self-expressed, who has I have so many things that I want to bring to the world, right? And I would consistently and constantly use other people's emotions or being obsessed with what other people, do they like me, and trying to fix and save and all this stuff going back to middle school to avoid becoming the fully expressed person I came here to be. So you can do your own kind of thinking and work around that and what's true for you and how long you've been playing this game with yourself of distraction. And you can, you got to ask yourself the same thing. If you have a business, you need to ask yourself the same question about your clients. Are you using your clients, allowing your clients to bring chaos into your life? Are you creating spaces where your clients can come to you that are not going to be spilling over into your entire life, right? Because that needs to be organized as well. So we can really use, if you're a healer, artist, or I work with people from all sorts of creative and healing professions, and we can all slip into this tendency. So you need to ask yourself, are you using these distractions of even your own clients to avoid being able to be fully self-expressed, which starts with being present, with being fully present. Okay. So what I want you to do, because what I thought we should do today is go through an expand beyond fear exercise on some area of your life in which you're not being fully truthful. To care for someone else's emotions because you're getting something out of it, because you're getting to be distracted from your full self-expression. So, one of the reasons I want to do this, not only do I think that this is an effective strategy and that you will really be able to make a change in your life on the other side of doing this work today, like a real change that will actually transform how your life is, how you're experiencing your life, and will also give you the courage to continue doing this. Because once you start saying no when you mean no, once you start saying yes when you mean yes, you're unstoppable. You have so much more time, so much more energy, and you're not pretending anymore, because just the lying itself makes is an energy drain. So, and also because I really want you all to understand the value of doing this work regularly and then bringing it out into the world in real time. So we need both. So remember with this work, and this is from the practice. So if you're new here, in the She Profits membership site, you can go there and find the practice. And the practice has 3 exercises. It has Expand Beyond Fear, which we're doing today, Free the Past, and Deprogram Yourself. Right now, this is about releasing fear. So this is that exercise. Anytime you do the exercise, you start with the writing, and that's preparing your mind. So it's formal thinking about this situation that you're in. The next part is rehearsing, and that's the guided meditation. So you rehearse for the moment to change your behavior in the moment. And then act is the action step that you're going to take to actually transform your life. We need all 3 of these. A lot of people either like to hide in the prepare and the rehearse, so they do the writing, and then they do the meditating, and then they don't ever do the action. Or they just go into keep trying to take the action in the 3-dimensional world without actually changing their energy around it. We need all 3. And it's not easy, because it is a practice of changing your life. So it's going to confront your ego. But if you do it, you're going to start to get the results. And you might be afraid beforehand, but that's okay. That's part of the work. Okay, so go ahead and write down find one thing that you're afraid to say to someone, one truth that you're afraid to say. So, maybe you regularly are getting calls from people who need your support, but it keeps creeping into the time that you've scheduled to do something else. So, write fear, telling someone I'm not available to take the call, or just not answering the call. Fear, telling a friend who I work with that they need to go through the client portal rather than be texting you all the time. So whatever the fear is that's coming up, fear, telling my partner I need time alone from this hour to this hour every day. Whatever the fear is, write that down at the top of a page. Blank sheet of paper with a pen. So at the top of a page, write down your fear. Okay. Now we're going to answer. So beneath that, write the fear beneath that. So it might be, let's say, for example, that your fear is telling your assistant that they're making mistakes. So fear and then we were afraid to tell them because they're going to get mad. So that might be the fear beneath that. Then they're going to quit. Then I won't have anybody supporting my business. Then my business is going to crumble, right? Or fear, if it's telling my partner that I need space to myself, they're going to think that they're going to go and drink, or they're going to go and do something I don't want to do if I'm not watching them. And then they'll turn out to be an alcoholic, and I'll have to leave them or make a hard decision if I don't watch them all the time. Or they'll cheat on me, or whatever it is. All these things, even though they may seem unrelated to self-expression, are completely related. So write down your fears and the fears beneath that. And now we're going to answer 6 essential questions as part of the practice about this fear. So these questions all pertain to the fear that we're working with. The first question is, how are you being dishonest about this fear? Now, in the dashboard for She Profits, in the practice with Expand Beyond Fear, you'll find an ego buster, and it will give you, if you open up that PDF file, it will give you examples of ways that we are dishonest about our fears. So one of the main dishonesties in this particular situation of codependency is that it's my job to manage other people's emotions. Another way is that, frankly, we're usually blatantly being dishonest in some way. So saying we have time when we don't. Not asking for what we clearly know that we desire in that situation. Not taking care, like for some of us, it's not taking care of our business just to avoid the backlash from someone who works for us. So like letting the whole business struggle so that one person, so that the assistant doesn't get mad. That's codependency for you. So those are some ways. Okay, other examples that will come up for this for you is, this will go away if I just ignore it. No, you're going to actually have to change your whole way of being around this stuff if this is up for you. I need to wait for the fear to go away before I take action. That's one of the lies we tell ourselves. Faith comes after you do what scares you, not beforehand. If X happens, so if the partner gets mad, if somebody yells at me, if people judge me, if somebody quits, if somebody leaves me, I won't be able to handle it. That's a lie we tell. I won't be able to handle it. Another one is that I know the outcome that would serve the whole in this situation. So sometimes you do, on your way to being a fierce truth teller, you do have to piss people off and just kind of like let everything crumble behind you. You know, that it's a real piece of the work is to kind of just be like, everything gets to crumble while I tell the truth right now. And then you can rebuild on a foundation of truth after that. But that is my experience, is I have to let things crumble while I tell the truth. And then because they weren't meant to be there anyway, the foundation wasn't solid. And then I get to rebuild on a solid foundation of truth. Okay, another dishonesty is that it's possible for someone to give me enough validation to make me feel confident and good about the situation. So if I'm lying to someone and saying, oh yeah, I have time for this, or like even if in the short term it feels good to help somebody, but I know that I don't really have that it's out of integrity with the time that I have set aside for myself, no matter what happens during that conversation, no matter how grateful they are, I'm gonna know in my heart I was out of integrity. No matter how nice that person is in the relationship, if I really don't want to be with them, I'm going to feel that they can't give me enough external validation. They can't think I'm great enough and tell me nice things for me to feel good about myself, because my self-esteem is lowered every single day that I live the lie of being in that relationship. This is some deep work on self-expression, y'all. It really is. But it's so important. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so the second question is, how do you try to stop what you fear from happening or to numb the fear? So trying to control the outcome. And again, this is on the Ego Buster. So if you're on the website and you've opened up that PDF file, you can see these. Try to control the outcome, overwork, try to prevent pain or bad things from happening. So sometimes if we're really codependent in a relationship with someone who has addiction, we'll sit there and try to watch them all day or check on them and text them all day. Delay handling it, live in denial, give up, hide out, obsess, over-explain, justify it, freeze. So some of us just like totally freeze. So if we're afraid to tell the truth about somebody for fear of backlash or somebody's going to get mad at us, even on social media, I know we can get codependent with our social media followers, right? That's a real thing. Is that people, I don't know if I'm allowed to tell this truth here because people will get mad at me. But that is codependent, right? So we hide out and we freeze. We process feelings. So we try to justify and process feelings. We check on things. We have conversations with ulterior motives. So somebody thinks we're having a conversation on this level, but really we have this other ulterior motive. We fantasize about bad things or good things happening. We don't do our best or tell the truth because we don't have to find out if it doesn't work out. We drink, eat, check Instagram, shoot heroin. We're overly positive and keep trying to find the positive aspects of our dishonest situation. So once you're finished writing this out, the third question is, what do you imagine to be the worst case scenario? What do you imagine to be the worst case scenario? So you want to bullet point this. Maybe somebody's going to yell at you, leave you, quit, get mad at you. You be detailed. Like what's your like fear fantasy about this? Write that down. But bullet point it. Okay, next question. How would you handle the worst case scenario as your most courageous self? How would you handle the worst case scenario as your most courageous self? So I'm going to give you some tips on this. So the first thing is that you let somebody else have their emotions. You let them have their emotions. They're not yours. So, for example, if you're afraid of telling the truth in your writing, you let them have their emotions about what you've written. If you are afraid to ask for something that you desire, like, for example, can you take the kids for 2 hours? I need space from this time to this time, and not let them in. And you think your partner's going to be like, oh. You can let them have their emotions. So you write down, when partner scoffs over and over again, I allow them to have that emotion. If we're afraid somebody's going to say something to make us feel guilty, we write down exactly what we think that they're going to say to us, and then we let them say that thing. If we think that somebody's going to judge us, we allow them to judge us. You can even write down what you think they're going to say, also knowing that you're just making it up anyway. So it's total story you're telling. But if that's what you're afraid of, we want to write it down and allow it, because it's all about releasing resistance to whatever we're afraid is going to happen. If we're afraid somebody's going to leave us, if we tell the truth, then you allow them to go, because you don't want to stay with someone who is going to leave the minute that you tell the truth about your life and yourself. If you are afraid that your employee is going to quit, then you imagine, or you release resistance to them quitting. So you allow other people to think what they need to think, feel what they need to feel, and you stop caretaking their emotions. You allow it to be a bumpy ride. You hold the vision of yourself as an honest, truth-seeking missile who's a freaking badass and who is telling the truth about your life. It feels so good when you do that. It's clear. The energy is so clear when you do that. Anything is possible. So you just hold the vision and keep the faith. And you would take the action you're afraid to take. Next, I want you to write down the best. So this is question 5. Write down the best case scenario in this situation. The best case scenario. And really go for it. It should feel good when you write it down. And finally, relative to this fear, what are some new beliefs that you can create about yourself, your life, and life in general? So one of them should definitely be, it's not my job to take care of other people's emotions. It's my job to find out what's true for me, to listen to that still voice within, and then to ask for it, or to be unavailable for anything, vibrationally unavailable for anything else. Others can include, it's okay to be afraid while you start to tell the truth. It's okay to take actions and to tell the truth while you're afraid. You can allow people to feel whatever they need to feel. You can allow people to get mad at you, to react negatively to you. It's safe to tell the truth. It's safe to not be available for someone. It's safe to raise my expectations in this situation. It's safe for me to choose to let someone go or to change the terms of a relationship. You seek your self-esteem from God or the universe through prayer, meditation, the practice, and taking these courageous actions. So all these together, that could be the new beliefs. The self-esteem doesn't come from trying to make other people happy. It comes from being truthful to yourself. You have every reason to trust yourself. So I want you to write that down. I have every reason to trust myself. And when you're done with that, I want you to write down your action plan. And your action plan should include reminding yourself how you're going to handle the worst case scenario, to allow people to feel whatever they're going to feel. So reiterating everything that you wrote with how you're going to handle the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, how you're going to walk through that. To mantra in those new beliefs, so all those new beliefs that you just came up with, you should mantra those in. What I mean by mantraing those in is literally sitting in meditation, reading the first belief, then closing your eyes and saying it again and again and again until you feel the feelings of it being true. So just even if you feel like the most subtle shift in how you feel, that's enough. You can quit doing the things that you have been trying to do to stop the fear. So quit lying, quit saying yes when you mean no and no when you mean yes, and laughing at jokes that aren't funny, all the things that we do to lie. You can take scary action that you've been avoiding. And trust yourself and act accordingly. So that's the work. And now I'm going to guide you in a meditation pertinent to what the work that you just did, okay? So you're going to keep your writing with you, and you may be opening your eyes to take a look at it a few times while you do this meditation. This meditation is part of the rehearse. So we talked about prepare. So the writing you just did prepared your mind for the meditation. The meditation is going to prepare you to take the action. So that's how they all kind of work together. The actions, all this will be for naught if we finish this work today and then you go and continue lying, or you go and continue to say, oh yeah, I'm available when you're not. Now, and you should not expect perfection out of yourself, because if you have a whole lifetime of people pleasing behind you and of like trying to go rescue everyone around you, to distract yourself from the real creativity that wants to pour forth from you. If that's your habit that's been ingrained in a lifetime, and you've also had a childhood where you would get really scary consequences, you might have to catch yourself in the moment and go back and tell the truth. So it might be something where, you have realized, oh gosh, I just told somebody I'm available, but I'm looking at my schedule and this is not true. I'm not available. So you can then send them a text and say, you know what, I'm so sorry. I'm actually not free. I'll be free on this day or this day, right? So really opening up what's possible for you. And letting yourself, not do it perfectly and go back and course correct. That's what I had to do a lot in the beginning. Okay, so go ahead and you have your paper in front of you. So close your eyes and sit up straight, palms up or palms down on your thighs. And just open your body and relax your jaw, relax your eyebrows, relax your forehead, and take a deep breath all the way into your belly. And release. And just know that you are being guided every day of your life to tell the truth. Your truth is worthy of sharing. That you can let anything stand that will stand after you tell the truth, and anything crumble that needs to crumble after you tell the truth. Whoever is guiding you wants you to know that it's safe to tell the truth. It's safe to feel peaceful. It's safe to let other people be mad and sad. It's safe to not save the world. And the truth is that by telling the truth, you're going to save the world. So take a deep breath all the way into your belly and release. And bring to mind your fear, the fear you worked on in this exercise. And the fear beneath that, and the fear beneath that, and the fear beneath that. And let's make a decision now to be done with this fear. To walk away from this fear. To leave it in the meditation. And to act in an entirely new, truthful way that honors our creativity and self-expression and healing work and activism that we came here to do. Now bring to mind exactly what you imagine happening in the worst case scenario. And if you need to, you can open your eyes and reread what you wrote. And then close your eyes and imagine yourself walking through it, fully equipped to handle it, fully equipped with courage. You can let people be mad. Imagine them. Imagine the reactions that you are afraid to have. and imagine them, and imagine that you're sending peace and love to those people as they have their reactions, but you are standing strong in the truth that you've decided to walk through. And take a deep breath all the way into your belly. And release. And be the courageous person telling the truth. And if you feel any resistance, shine a light, an inner light, on that resistance. Until it dissolves. It's safe for other people to be sad and mad. Now remind yourself of the best case scenario. You can open your eyes if you want to reread. Imagine the best case scenario in this situation. It's done. And take a deep breath all the way into your belly. And release. Notice any resistance you have toward the best case scenario coming true. And shine your inner light on that, imagining the resistance melting away. It does get to be easy. Telling the truth does get to be easy. And take another deep breath all the way into your belly. And release. Now, remind yourself of the new beliefs that you have created. And close your eyes and imagine them, mantraing them in, repeating them to yourself. Now open your eyes and review your action plan. And close your eyes and see yourself carrying out your action plan completely. So whenever the thoughts and fears come up, you meet them with new beliefs. You're walking through telling the truth. You're walking through asking for what you desire. You're walking through honoring your schedule, honoring your policies, honoring your own integrity. You are safe. It's safe to tell the truth. It's powerful to tell the truth. It's okay for others to have emotions. It's okay for others to be mad at you. Not everybody has to like you. This is what it looks like to be a badass. This is what it looks like to be free. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. You can trust yourself. So take one more deep breath all the way into your belly. And release. Come back whenever you're ready. And I just want to remind you and reiterate one more time how important it is to actually walk through and change your behavior around it. So if you've made this action plan for yourself, you must follow it now, right, for this to fully work. So it goes prepare, which you did the mental preparation by writing. Rehearse, so that's the formal writing. Then rehearse is what we just did. We just rehearsed for real time. And that's when things are actually going to be happening, where you're actually going to have to go have the conversation that you've been afraid to have or whatever it is. And then act. And act is the part where I can't guide you through that. That's you. And if you need to, you can pray for the willingness to go and do that. Or be accountable to the groups. You can tell us in the comments what your action is that you're going to do so we can hold you accountable. But we are fully here for you, and we will see, and I will see you, and I think that the whole group will see you. There's an action that you're about to take. This is what we're here for, is to support each other through these actions that are going to free us up to be fully self-expressed, free us up to be fully self-expressed in our creativity, in our bank account, in our relationships. This is part of the work. In our time, it all has to flow together. These are all linked, right? So once again, your communication is linked to your time, is linked to your money, is linked to your visibility. So these are all linked up together, and they all must work as one for you to feel and be fully self-expressed on the planet, which is really what you're here to do, as I'm sure you know. So I am rooting for you. What do I want to tell you? If you are a mom, I am offering a guided meditation album called Mama Sit. It's $22. If you can't swing it, just use free mom at checkout. It's mamasit.com. This is going to be closing on Sunday. And we are going to start, I have 3 live trainings for Mama Sit. We're going to start those on Monday. So please join if you're interested. I would love, love, love to have you. If you have friends who are interested, who would benefit from She Profits, you can give them a discount right now, and then you can receive the profit from their first month of She Profits. And by the way, okay, so let me tell you, the discount code is Corona for the annual plan, and it's Corona monthly for the monthly plan. If you are feeling guilty, so if you have a friend who you think would be good for, or you think She Profits would be good for, and you're not telling them about it because you would receive the first month of payment for it, that is a money block. And I want you to do it, because that's actually, you are blocking not only the flow of money to you, but the support that you believe somebody else could have by doing this work. And that's what we need to get to with money blocks, is like how it's not just impacting us, it's impacting others in the world. And the way that you can get through that money block is to go to the dashboard for She Profits and to use the deprogram yourself exercise and write down for the belief, I'm a bad person, or my friend will think I'm just trying to sell to them if I get the first month of their payment for She Profits, or if I tell them to join She Profits. They'll think I'm a bad person or a salesperson or whatever. And then in the first question, it's going to say, is this true? You answer no. The answer is always no. It's not true. And then what's possible if it's not true, and you need to write down what's possible for you and for your friend. I am giving you this assignment on purpose so that you can really see your money blocks. So if you're somebody who's always sensitive to like, this person's selling to me, or this person's selling to me, or whatever, that's actually your money block. And it's not just going out toward the people you think are selling to you, it's going in. So it's actually where you are not being able to be fully self-expressed in your own financial life. So it's a money block that needs to be worked through. I strongly recommend that you do that deprogram yourself if that's coming up, because you have this opportunity to bring some folks in here if you think that it would benefit them. And I think that we would all love to welcome new folks into She Profits. What else? I did a free fear releasing workshop the other day. In that, just DM me if you need the link to that. But it's in my other Facebook group called Secret Spiritual Teachings. And as you know, as I mentioned, there is no visiting prophetess this month, but I'll be back in the next couple months. We will double up on visiting prophetesses. And don't worry, I'm about to blow y'all away with some stuff that we're going to be doing here just for this group in the next few months. So I'm super excited to tell you about that. And information about that will be coming out probably in April. So let me know if you have any questions. I'm always here for you. I'm thinking of you. I know this is a weird, hard time. I believe in you. I believe that you are going to tell the truth in your relationships and, really transform how you're handling time and money as a result. So let me know if I can be of service to you. I love you all so much. Mwah.